In this talk, I will use the word crusade, not in its literal meaning, which means approximately for the cross, but in its more figurative meaning, for being a war fought by those who believe they are right. Sometimes something that is pitied or loved is threatened, and this can cause anger in response. Many people in such a situation see this as an opportunity to become a hero and get glory for themselves by defending the loved person or thing and attacking the threat. The churches of Christendom had some appreciation of the nation of Israel, which they called the Holy Land back in the Middle Ages. So when they saw that Muslims had conquered the Holy Land, which they viewed as the birthplace of Jesus Christ, they became angry. They also saw an opportunity to act the hero and get glory for themselves. So they carried out the Crusades, a so-called holy war, to free the Holy Land of the Muslims. Some references say that around 3 million people were killed. In today's world, we are bombarded with the message women are suffering unfairly at the hands of men. Because many men love their women, they can be roused to anger by such news. And as people today love themselves so much, women too are greatly angered by hearing that one of themselves has been made to suffer. Seeing an opportunity to be the hero and get glory for themselves, they rise up, either literally or in words, to fight against the threat. Who is the target of their crusade? Men. Their crusade is against men, and they believe that it is a good and just fight. In fact, if feminists stopped fighting men, they would no longer feel like heroes who have something righteous to live for, and would lose their identity and sense of purpose. So in reality, they need the propaganda that demonizes men to continue, otherwise they will have no opportunity to get glory for themselves and no purpose to their lives. It is quite a common occurrence for a man and a woman to have an argument, and either a macho man or a feminist woman starts wanting to play the hero by defending the woman and fighting off the man, when in fact they knew nothing about the argument or who was right and who was wrong. Clever men and governments have used these sentiments for their own benefit. Governments use the narrative that women have been deprived of work opportunities to get more women into work to increase taxes. Politicians speak about women's rights in order to make themselves more popular. Religious groups have done the same thing. Jehovah's Witnesses, who say that all other religions make up the symbolic Babylon the Great, and that they were completely freed from Babylon the Great in the year 1919, have also adopted this feminist language of the crusade against men. To the shock of humble Christian men, they have repeatedly taught the women in their organization to imitate Jael, the Kenite woman who killed a man by hammering a 10-pin through his head while he was asleep. In their conventions in recent years, they have graphically narrated the gory story in all its details and said, "What great courage! How could the so-called representatives of Jehovah, the God of love, teach such a thing to Christian women who hate violence?" They have also attempted to join the world's use of the sentiment of indignation to stir anger and hatred against men and appear to be heroes for women. They have done this by publishing a number of articles which greatly exaggerate the abuse of women by men. They have also humiliated men by saying they are unacceptable to God if they have a beard, and have allowed their women to cut their hair very short, which is a violation of the headship principle as set out in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, and shames her family head. These are false apostate teachings and conduct, and are against the God of the Bible. Their attempt to get glory for themselves and make themselves popular has not gone unnoticed by Jehovah. But unfortunately, many Jehovah's Witnesses are either ignorant of what is happening or deliberately turn a blind eye to this disgraceful apostasy. Through the prophet Isaiah, Jehovah says in chapter 3, "As for my people, their task assigners are dealing severely, and women rule over them. O my people, those leading you are causing you to wander, and the way of your paths they have confused." Jehovah is stationing himself to contend, and is standing up to pass sentence upon peoples. Jehovah himself will enter into judgment with the elderly ones of his people and its princes. "And you yourselves have burned down the vineyard. What was taken by robbery from the afflicted one is in your houses. What do you men mean in that you crush my people, and that you grind the very faces of the afflicted ones? Says the great Lord Jehovah of armies." And Jehovah says, "For the reason that the daughters of Zion have become haughty, and they walk with their throats stretched out, and ogling with their eyes. Jehovah also will actually make the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion scabby, and Jehovah himself will lay their very forehead bare. And 7 women will actually grab hold of one man in that day, saying, 'We shall eat our own bread and wear our own mantles, only may we be called by your name to take away our reproach.'" The Jehovites of Empire of Jehovah are fully aware of Satan's tactics. We believe that all crusades should stop, and people who stir such sentiments for their own benefit should be exposed. The Jehovite is a man or woman of peace and love, and refuses to be led along by apostate teachings. The Jehovite will do his part to warn the Jehovah's Witnesses and other religious groups that they have apostatized from biblical truth and must repent and return to Jehovah, the God of love. All feminists must put down their weapons, including their words, and stop their feminist crusade against men. Otherwise, there will never be peace on this earth.